Well,
Okay.
thank you so much for being with us, Myra. We're so grateful that you took the time to help educate our members on this very important issue. And you need no introduction with our group. They've seen you, and we're so grateful for the partnership with the Professional Beauty Association and all you are doing to support ISPA. So with that, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And I want to thank you and your great team at ISPA. Everyone has been so welcoming, and I just appreciate the genuine interest in our FICA tax on tips legislation, as this will impact all of your members. And I'm so excited and appreciative of this partnership we have together between our, I call them sister organizations. And I'm excited today to talk about FICA because it is just personally near and dear to my heart, because I believe our industry is truly so deserving of tax parity and tax equity. And that's really what this topic comes down to. So real quick, I just want to cover what is the 45B FICA tax tip legislation. 30 years ago, yes, I'm going to say that one more time. 30 years ago, Congress passed legislation granting the restaurant industry, so restaurant owners, a dollar for dollar tax credit on the restaurant employer's portion of FICA taxes on tips. Now, we all know that tips are taxable income. Yes, it may seem like a gift, a gratuity, it's an expression of the client saying thank you for going above and beyond for the service that you provided, but it is taxable income. So I want to make that clear right off the bat. All tips should be reported, and FICA taxes should be paid on tips. Now, in an employer establishment, meaning there's an employer and an employee, the employee pays half of FICA taxes on all taxable income, and the employer pays the other half of the FICA taxes on that taxable income. In the restaurant industry, the employer continues to pay all the taxes all year, and at the end of the year, they have a very short, simple form that they add with their IRS tax filing that grants them a credit for the FICA taxes paid on just the tips. Some of you might think, well, how did they even manage to get that? What was Congress thinking? Well, Congress understood back in 1993 that as an employer, you're not paying out the tip. You didn't pay your employee this tip. The tip was received by the client. And as an employer, you're not keeping any of the tip. The tip goes directly to the employee. So it would be very odd to expect an employer to pay FICA taxes on tips because they don't pay it out, nor do they receive anything back from it. It is really a transaction between the client and the employee. So back in 1993, Congress already recognized, yeah, that's a little strange. That doesn't quite make sense. Okay, but you need to pay it all year because we want to make sure those employees are whole, that their accounts for their SSI and their Medicare, all of that is kept whole, that nothing is taken away from them. So you're going to pay it all year. You're going to educate your employees on the importance of reporting that tipped income to make sure the taxes are paid, and also that it's allocated properly to payroll so that we know exactly how much our beauty industry professionals are making, which has an impact on everything else within our industry. The 45B tip tax credit legislation currently in Congress is asking Congress to recognize that there is a tax inequity by only allowing the restaurant industry access to this credit. What about us? What about the spas? What about the salons? What about the barbershops? We are the second highest tipped industry in the US, right behind the restaurants. Many of you might even notice geographically that your spa or your salon is located right next to a restaurant or in the same complex or hotel. But they're treated very differently, and it is unfair. It is a tax issue. The tax code was meant to be applied equally. It was meant to be transparent. It was meant to be fair. And so now we have a 30-year-long issue of unfairness. So we have sponsors in in Congress. On the House side, we have Darren LaHood from Illinois, and we have Suzanne DelBene from Washington State. On the Senate side, we have Senator Ben Cardin from Maryland and Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina. Our legislation is an easy number to remember because it matches the actual code 45B. We have House Bill 45 and Senate Bill 45. We just finished 2 lobby days already, and we're going back in July, back to DC, bringing advocates like yourself, talking about your businesses, talking about this credit and what it would mean to you, how you could reinvest into your establishment and with your employees. Back in July for lobby day, we'll be going back again in October and in September. We need to build these relationships. Our major call to action right now is to ask all members of Congress, both in the House and the Senate, despite what committees they may serve on, to co-sponsor this legislation, to support businesses in the beauty industry, to support tax fairness and tax equity. To break this down a little bit in numbers, if you are processing, let's just say $200,000 in tips a year, that's close to $16,000 you're paying in just FICA taxes, minus your credit card swipe fee, minus the processing for your front desk or to process it through the check. You're really out money that you should be keeping, that should be accessible to you, that you should have the option to even apply for at the end of the year with a form, simple and easy, just like the restaurant industry. This really is a tax equity problem. You are deserving of this credit. There's no reason why you shouldn't have it. And that is why the Professional Beauty Association, along with all of our friends and advocates at ISPA, are working together in Congress, taking the time to go out to DC. We're writing letters, making calls, and the one ask we're asking right now is for our members of Congress to sign on as a co-sponsor to both HR 45 and Senate Bill 45. The more co-sponsors we have, the more likely that we will actually stick to legislation in this 118th Congress. Now, our legislation has gone through many steps before, so Congress is very familiar with this legislation. Last year, we were in the Build Back Better plan, but unfortunately, when they cut it due to budgeting, we fell off. The Congress before that, we were in the overarching House Ways and Means economic plan and proposal. Again, when it went through processing, it fell off. We need members of Congress to realize that the beauty industry is worthy and deserving of this credit. The beauty industry is in every single community. We make an impact and we matter. And the more and more this credit goes by without a fix, without equity, without fairness, it's just a really poor sign to our industry, where we should be much more relevant and worthy of getting these members of Congress to help us. Many of you are still recovering from post-COVID expenses, staffing. We want the beauty industry to continue to be thriving and to grow. And this credit, this tax fairness, is one more step to getting us to where we need to be. So please join us, visit PBA's website. Right when you go onto the website and hit advocacy, we have a whole page dedicated with resources, talking points, information, a take action section, all dedicated to this FICA tax on tip legislation. It's simple, it's made simple. If you'd like to come out to DC with us or even host a member of Congress during the August recess in your home state, we'd love to help you set that up and schedule it. We could even fly out and walk you through the process. It's so wonderful to invite members of Congress to your place of business, show them, walk them through what the beauty industry does for you, for your family, and for your employees, as well as all of the clients, and show them what this credit would mean. So thank you so much to ISPA, to Lynne McNees, who's a huge supporter and advocate for all of you. for allowing us this time today, and we really appreciate it. And we look forward to further collaboration and working together to make this FICA tax tip legislation credit actually happen this Congress. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Myra. That was so wonderful. You really made it easy to understand, and we're so grateful. And we'll do it again soon, and let us know what else we can do to help. You have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
Lynn. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.